You have power of levitation.
In the remote, icy Himalayan peaks, ancient monks have reportedly been found alive, sitting in deep meditation and untouched by time. These mysterious figures, seemingly defying death, have sparked both awe and fear among experts. What secrets are they guarding, and why are they hidden in isolation? Whispers of divine rituals and ancient relics have surfaced, leaving the world to wonder if these monks hold knowledge that could reshape humanity or destroy it. What lies beyond the veil of their silence? The monk living in Tibet's harshest conditions. High in the soaring peaks of China's Tibet, where the air is thin and the wind cuts like a blade, stands Rangu Monastery, often described as the highest monastery on earth. The landscape is a never-ending stretch of snow. Temperatures can plummet to levels where humans should not be able to survive. Yet for one monk, this icy realm is both home and sanctuary. He remains there without a fire for warmth and without solid walls for shelter. Many people cannot imagine living in such severe conditions, but he finds peace surrounded by nothing but white drifts and silent skies. No accurate records exist of how long he has stayed at Rangu Monastery, or even what his real name might be. All anyone knows is that he greets each day before sunrise with a ritual that might break most people in minutes. At dawn, he steps outside into the numbing cold and scoops up lumps of snow with his bare hands, letting the sharp chill bite at his skin. His only source of drinking water comes from thawing this ice in his palms. It is a slow, deliberate process as he waits for his body heat to melt the frozen handful. When it finally becomes water, he sips it reverently, as if it carries spiritual essence beyond. Forgoing heat and conventional shelter, this monk has renounced food as well. According to the rare travelers who have observed him, he seems not to eat, or if he does, it is only in the smallest, most occasional portions. Instead of relying on physical nourishment, he draws strength from the deep power of mental discipline. He devotes hours each day to focused meditation, chanting mantras that fill the thin, frozen air with a subtle sense of calm. The emptiness around him is not a torment. It is the means for him to cultivate a state of surrender. He believes that by releasing everything, material comforts, the usual need for warmth, and even the constant drive for self-preservation, he can connect with a divine force. In his understanding, this force is linked to Shiva, often seen as the energy of both destruction and transformation. Embracing those extremes, he dissolves his sense of self into the vastness of nature. Even within the lethal cold, he feels protected by something bigger than himself. This approach highlights how the human mind, trained through rigorous devotion, can expand its limits. In a place where the temperature and altitude alone would exhaust most visitors within hours, this monk finds purpose in the simplest actions. By accepting discomfort and releasing his personal needs, he seems to reach beyond ordinary human capability. Through this quiet solitude on a snowy mountaintop, he teaches that discipline, faith, and mental mastery can reshape our understanding of what is possible in one of Earth's most forbidding environments, the monk who defied gravity. In 2020, a short video made waves on social media, especially on the platform then known as X, formerly Twitter. A woman fully equipped with climbing ropes and a sturdy harness was shown painstakingly scaling what looked like a nearly vertical rocky ledge. Each move she made appeared slow and guarded as she inched her way upward, yet the real spectacle lay right beside her, a monk, bare-chested, barefoot, and without a single piece of safety equipment, glided along the sheer surface as if it were a gentle garden path. This clip, shared by user Tanzu, quickly drew a flood of comments. The monk seemed to cling to the rock in a way that looked close to impossible, a feat that defied what most people consider normal human ability. Many credited his success to a blend of yoga, meditation, and many years of constant training. Observers also noted that he did not climb straight up. He used a side-to-side motion to minimize the slope's steepness. Such efficiency in movement showcased not only physical prowess, but also a calm, precise understanding of the mountain itself. The key to his achievement likely rests in mastering his mind first. While physical fitness is necessary to handle a difficult climb, many believe the real breakthrough comes from quieting fear. Panic is one of the biggest risks in any dangerous activity, and especially in climbing without protection. By keeping his breathing slow and his attention fully in the present, the monk replaced anxiety with unwavering composure. This approach shows why mental discipline can be as vital as muscle strength in any challenge. The reaction from viewers worldwide was a mix of awe and curiosity. How can a person scale a vertical expanse of rock without shaking from fear or strain? According to accounts from those familiar with monastic training, individuals like him spend countless hours focusing on stability, clarity, and acceptance of risk. Their routines include long sessions of meditation that still the mind, allowing them to remain unruffled by tension or hesitation. In their perspective, climbing becomes not a physical contest, but a form of spiritual practice, one that merges body and nature. This modern glimpse into a monk's skill reminds us that extraordinary feats often have roots in dedicated inner work. While gyms and equipment help strengthen people's bodies, a deep commitment to mental clarity may be what truly unlocks impossible-seeming abilities. The reincarnated leader. In the rolling landscapes of Tibet, the search for each new Karmapa sparks a blend of mystery and reverence. The Karmapa is more than just a figurehead. He represents a line of spiritual masters in the Karmaku school of Tibetan Buddhism. Upon the passing of one Karmapa, special clues such as sacred letters, visions, and threads of prophecy guide monks to discover where the next reincarnation has taken birth. It is said that this recognized child is a living vessel of ancient wisdom, connecting past and present through a chain of rebirths. Such a process occurred in 1985 when a boy named Apogaga was born to a small nomadic family in Tibet. His arrival gave rise to unusual events: his mother's vivid dream, reports of symbolic birds perched on their tent, and unexplained sounds in the surrounding valley. To many inhabitants of this region, these were hints from the spiritual world. By the time he was 4, Apogaga had already begun his monastic studies, hinting he was no ordinary child. In 1992, at the age of 7, he told his parents they must move their camp to another valley. Soon after, a group of Karmaku monks arrived with a secret letter that the 16th Karmapa had written before passing away. The letter detailed where his next incarnation would appear, along with names and circumstances. Each piece matched Apogaga's situation exactly. Soon he was formally recognized as the 17th Karmapa, Ogyen Trinley Dorje. This recognition was confirmed by the 14th Dalai Lama, adding further legitimacy. Even the Chinese government, known for its tight control over Tibetan affairs, acknowledged him. He was then taken to Surfu Monastery, the traditional seat of the Karmapas, to begin a path of formal study and spiritual leadership. One of the most symbolic events tied to his office is the Black Hat ceremony. Legend says the special hat he wears was woven from the hair of celestial beings and granted by the Buddha. When the Karmapa officially dons it, devotees believe it amplifies his spiritual presence. The ceremony includes offerings, prostrations, and contemplative prayers that aim to unite his mind with higher compassion. The hat itself stands as a bridge between the worldly realm and the sacred, allowing the Karmapa's spiritual energy to shine as a guiding beacon for his followers. Today, the 17th Karmapa addresses topics that concern both tradition and contemporary life, such as environmental stewardship and peaceful dialogue. His dual role as a guardian of Tibetan Buddhist heritage and a modern thinker demonstrates the fusion of centuries-old teachings with the demands of a changing world. The self-mummified monk. Around 2015, a startling find emerged from an ancient statue of the Buddha. Beneath its outer frame lay a perfectly mummified body. Researchers had expected to discover a simple clay or stone interior, but what they found was the preserved form of the Buddhist monk Liu Quan, sitting in meditative posture. Further study revealed that he had not been placed inside after his death. Rather, he had undertaken self-mummification, turning his own body into the statue. Self-mummification is one of the rarest and most grueling practices in certain branches of Buddhism. Participants intentionally prepare their bodies for preservation while alive. The first stage is a drastic change in diet. Normal meals are replaced by small amounts of nuts, seeds, bark, and roots. Fat and moisture, which cause decay, are steadily removed from the body. This slow starvation not only prevents rotting later, but is also seen as a form of extreme devotion, stripping away worldly attachments in the process. Yet that was only the beginning. Luan reportedly drank a toxic concoction made from tree sap. This mix was mild enough not to kill him outright, but lethal enough to repel bacteria and insects after his death. Each sip was a calculated step deeper into a state where his body was being readied to exist without living functions. The final stage of this process involved sealing himself within a chamber. He would sit there, continuing to meditate while ringing a small bell each day to signal he was still alive. When the bell at long last fell silent, the chamber was closed for a set period. Upon reopening, if the monk's body had remained intact, he was honored as a true master who had conquered decay. This honor was given to Luan, whose body stayed intact for centuries. However, the statue held an extra secret. Alongside Luan's form were mysterious inscriptions and symbols carved into the surrounding stone. Some researchers suspect these markings could hold esoteric meditation methods or spiritual guidelines that have been lost over time. Whether or not modern scholars can decode these messages remains uncertain, but they add to the fascination around this monk's monumental sacrifice. Today, Luan's mummified body still intrigues both spiritual seekers and historians. Displayed under protective conditions, it stands as a testament to the length some will go in the name of devotion. Though the idea of self-mummification might seem alien or extreme to most people, it captures an unparalleled level of faith and discipline. Honen and the revolution of Pure Land Buddhism. Medieval Japan was once home to Buddhist schools that placed strict demands on followers both intellectually and ritually. The elite monks often lived in secluded temples high in the mountains, rigorously studying sacred texts and devoting themselves to detailed meditation practices. Common people, farmers, merchants, outcasts, were largely excluded from these traditions. The notion that ordinary individuals could attain salvation or enlightenment seemed unattainable to those outside the privileged circle. Enter Honen, born in 1133, who became a pivotal figure in shifting these rigid traditions. He started out within the Tendai school, an elite branch of Japanese Buddhism, where he formed a solid grounding in religious texts and ceremonies. With time, though, he grew troubled by the idea that spiritual liberation might be closed off to average people, a question that shook the foundations of the religious hierarchy. During his search, Honen delved into Pure Land teachings. These teachings center around faith in Amida Buddha, who is believed to have created a pure realm of rebirth open to anyone who calls upon him with sincere trust. Instead of advanced rituals or scholarly knowledge, salvation in the Pure Land tradition hinges on a single phrase, Namu Amida Butsu. By invoking Amida's name, believers express both gratitude and hope that they will be guided into the Pure Land after death. This message spread quickly among social groups who had never seen themselves as candidates for enlightenment. People who had no time or resources for monastic life now realized that spiritual grace was not a locked door. Honen's approach triggered a strong backlash from established monks and authorities. They saw it as a threat to their status and doctrines. Eventually, a crackdown arrived. Honen was accused of heresy and exiled in 1207, and some of his followers faced persecution, yet the core of his message proved unstoppable. Even from exile, Honen kept teaching that true faith in Amida Buddha could lift anyone, even those considered unworthy by society, into a realm of universal benevolence. Before his passing in 1212, he founded the Jodo school of Pure Land Buddhism, which remains one of Japan's most practiced forms of Buddhism today. The monk who became a statue. In a temple called Wat Hunaram on Thailand's Koh Samui Island, visitors can see something truly astonishing, the upright preserved form of the monk Luang Po Deng, who passed away in 1973. Decades have come and gone, yet his body has remained recognizable and uncorrupted, encased in a glass enclosure so anyone can witness this curious phenomenon. Tourists and devotees alike pause in quiet awe when they see a monk who appears as if time has simply stalled around him. Luang Po Deng was known for his devout commitment to the Buddha's teachings and for leading a life of moderation. He practiced meditation daily and encouraged others to pursue both moral conduct and mental clarity. According to temple records, when he felt his life nearing its end, he informed followers of his wish to leave his body so they could display it as a symbol of faith. He then passed away in meditation, seated in a calm posture. At first, his disciples had no reason to expect anything unusual. They followed their customs, preparing to pay respects. But after some time passed, they noticed that his body showed no classic signs of decay. The dryness of the environment and his simple plant-based diet may have played some role, but many see it as a sign that his deep spiritual practice created a serene state untroubled by physical breakdown. Medical professionals have occasionally examined his body. While various scientific factors could contribute to preserving a corpse, the exact reason for such long-term stasis remains partly mysterious. Some people suggest that his spiritual discipline strengthened a certain harmony between mind and body that did not simply vanish at death. Others hold a more devout perspective, believing that his purity of heart and unwavering focus on enlightenment produced this phenomenon. Because of this extraordinary preservation, his followers keep him seated in the same meditative pose he was in at the moment of his passing. He wears sunglasses to cover eyes that have lost their natural appearance over time. Yet even with these small modifications, he stands as a quiet reminder of a monk's selfless life and steadfast devotion to his beliefs. Today, those who visit Wat Kunaram can reflect on what it means to live and die with awareness. Luang Po Deng's presence is not treated as a morbid display, but as an inspiring example of how strong faith and constant practice can transcend ordinary limits. His serene posture urges onlookers to consider the deeper nature of the human journey and how unwavering spiritual commitment might defy the usual decay of the physical form. Bodhidharma, the father of Shaolin Kung Fu. Bodhidharma, an Indian monk who lived in the 5th or 6th century, is widely revered for bringing Chan Buddhism to China and for sowing the seeds that would later grow into the famed Shaolin Kung Fu. His life story weaves together fact and legend, but all accounts emphasize his dedication to authentic spiritual insight over scripted ceremony. Tales say that upon his arrival in China, he faced skepticism and even imperial doubt. One well-known story involves Emperor Wu of Liang, a patron of Buddhism who had financed the building of temples and the production of sacred texts. When the emperor asked Bodhidharma what merit he had gained from these deeds, Bodhidharma bluntly replied, "None whatsoever." This response shocked the emperor, who had expected praise. However, Bodhidharma's stance was that external works, no matter how grand, do not automatically lead to true spiritual understanding. Instead, genuine insight requires personal experience of emptiness and awareness. From there, Bodhidharma journeyed to the Shaolin Temple, where he is said to have meditated in a cave for 9 straight years. During that time, he sat motionless, eyeing the cave wall and diving deeper into a state of inner stillness. Legends claim that at one point he grew frustrated with his own drowsiness and tore off his eyelids to stay awake. Historical accuracy aside, these stories underline a powerful dedication to self-discipline. During Bodhidharma's stay, he noticed that many of the Shaolin monks struggled physically. Extended hours of sitting meditation had left them weak and prone to illness. Bodhidharma introduced exercises designed to energize the body while sustaining mental focus. Over time, these drills evolved into martial forms that combined agility, defensive movements, and spiritual concentration. This fusion of body and mind gave rise to what is known today as Shaolin Kung Fu, an art meant to sharpen reflexes and fortify the body for deeper meditative practice. Bodhidharma's influence did not stop at martial arts. He also transmitted core teachings that shaped Chinese Buddhism, emphasizing direct experience over intellectual debate. The Chan tradition, which eventually became Zen Buddhism in Japan, holds him as a patriarch. This tradition sees formal study as useful, but not enough. Real awakening arises from a direct insight into one's nature. Centuries later, Bodhidharma remains a symbol of spiritual strength and authenticity, valued by monks, martial artists, and seekers who wish to unite the physical with the mental. Marpa Lotsawa. In 11th century Tibet, religious knowledge was often guarded by distance and language barriers. Marpa Lotsawa, whose name can be translated as Marpa the Translator, dedicated his life to bridging those gaps. Born around 1012, he made multiple perilous trips to India, traversing steep Himalayan paths on foot and enduring dangers from both the harsh terrain and potential robbers. His goal was to collect the sacred teachings of Buddhism directly from the most esteemed Indian masters and bring them back to his homeland. More than just a traveler, Marpa was a devoted student of various Indian sages, including the legendary Yogi Naropa. Under their guidance, he gained a thorough understanding of complex Buddhist texts and specialized tantric instructions. This was no simple academic project. Transmission of these teachings required deep spiritual immersion. Marpa had to embody the methods he learned and prove his commitment to practice before receiving final blessings. When Marpa returned to Tibet, he translated these collected teachings from Sanskrit into Tibetan, making them available to a new generation of seekers. He famously worked with intricacies of language and spiritual insight to capture not just the words but the true essence of master-disciple instruction. He made sure that cultural nuances were not lost in mere word-for-word substitution, which allowed Tibetan practitioners to connect to these teachings as if they had studied under Indian gurus themselves. Perhaps one of Marpa's most significant contributions to Tibetan Buddhism was his mentorship of Milarepa, who became among Tibet's most celebrated poets and yogis. But Milarepa's road to awakening was not free of pain. Marpa tested him in unconventional ways, instructing him to build and then demolish stone towers repeatedly. These tasks served as a harsh form of karmic purification, forcing Milarepa to confront guilt from his past wrong actions. Only after enduring these trials did Marpa pass on the profound meditation techniques that guided Milarepa toward enlightenment. Through all these endeavors, Marpa shaped the Kagyu school of Tibetan Buddhism, which continues to flourish. His dedication ensured that valuable scriptures survived and were preserved through generations. Students in Tibet could now access the heart teachings of great Indian masters, unlocking meditation practices and spiritual philosophies once hidden behind borders and language. Sri Ramakrishna, Born in 1836 near Kolkata, India, Sri Ramakrishna grew up in a poor but devout Hindu family. Early in life, he became a priest at the renowned Dakshineswar Kali temple, where his intense devotion to the goddess Kali brought him into states of spiritual ecstasy. Hour after hour, he would immerse himself in prayer, chanting, and profound meditation, at times losing awareness of the outer world. Temple visitors often found him in these deep trances, describing how a wave of otherworldly presence seemed to flow from him. Yet Ramakrishna's spiritual hunger could not be contained by one path alone. He was curious about the truths lying within other faiths, so he explored Christian teachings, turning his focus to Jesus Christ with the same fervor he dedicated to his Hindu devotions. He experienced visions that convinced him that divine love permeates Christian practice as well. He then tried Islamic worship, saying the name of Allah in prayer, and discovering a deep calm through that practice. According to Ramakrishna, these parallel paths led to the same heart of devotion and unity. His message, simple yet transformative, was that every religion can serve as a unique doorway to the same ultimate reality. This inclusive viewpoint broke barriers at a time when cultural and religious lines were drawn firmly. Many came to see him not just as a holy man, but as a living embodiment of religious harmony. He taught that even though beliefs and rituals differ, they are all valid means to experience divine grace. Among his students, the most influential was Swami Vivekananda, who later brought Ramakrishna's teachings to global attention through lectures and public appearances abroad. Vivekananda showed how Ramakrishna's vision of oneness could resonate with people outside India. He established the Ramakrishna Mission and Math, organizations devoted to education, charitable work, and the practice of merging spiritual and social progress. Sri Ramakrishna's entire life was a testament to the idea that faith can be both intense and expansive. He used humility, stories, and hands-on demonstrations to share his wisdom. Rather than imposing dogmatic rule, he showed that devotion does not have to be narrow or separated by sectarian divisions. Today, his teachings still inspire countless seekers who walk many spiritual paths. Ramakrishna remains a figure who proved that devotion, love, and understanding can transcend boundaries and point to the unifying essence at the core of all faiths, the 200-year-old mummified monk in Mongolia. In the wide, cold steppes of Mongolia, a remarkable discovery stunned scientists and spiritual communities alike. A monk's body, believed to be around 200 years old, found sitting upright in a meditative posture. The monk, still clothed in traditional robes, appeared so intact that onlookers could have believed he had just entered a moment of deep reflection. The dryness of the region's climate and freezing temperatures may have played a part, but many attributed the preservation to a rare practice called tukdam. Tukdam is rooted in certain Buddhist traditions and involves entering a state so close to death that physical functions almost cease. Yet the mind remains in profound meditation. Monks who practice tukdam are said to be in a space between life and death, maintaining a subtle awareness that keeps the body from collapsing into normal decay. Typically, this state might last a few days or weeks. The idea that someone could appear so pristine after 2 centuries goes beyond common understanding. Scientists who initially studied the body considered the possibility of natural mummification. Perhaps the region's sub-zero conditions froze the tissues, slowing decomposition. Some speculated that diet and herbal preparations handed down through secret monastic recipes also reduced bacteria that lead to decay. Others pointed to the notion that high-altitude living could lower oxygen and water content in tissue cells, creating a protective environment. However, local believers hold an even deeper view. They think the monk's devotion and unwavering spiritual practice guided him into a level of consciousness that defies normal biological limits. In their perspective, the body in meditation signals an ongoing link between this world and a higher reality. Whether or not physical science can explain every aspect, the presence of this monk has sparked renewed interest in the lessons of Buddhist dedication. Some claim that archives in Mongolian monasteries might contain references to special techniques or prayers used to facilitate prolonged states, but these records remain sparse or unverified. Even if more documents surface, the mixture of myth, faith, and practicality will likely keep the truth partly veiled. What is obvious is that the 200-year-old monk represents not just a curious relic, but also a testament to the extreme dedication certain Buddhist practitioners embrace. In an age when modern medicine typically defines the edges of life and death, the monk serves as a case study that challenges perceptions of what is possible. Whether these phenomena stem from advanced meditation practices or purely natural conditions, the image of a person serenely at peace 2 centuries later continues to fascinate experts and the faithful alike. It reminds us that the human mind, when deeply trained, has more influence over the body than most might assume, and that spiritual devotion can lead to mysteries that remain difficult to fully unravel. Thanks for watching another episode. While you are still here, make sure to click the video on your screen for more quality content.